Yep, put that on. He's got to have it on. There we go.
Now
we're brothers fully.
What up, CANON production on Optical Power on YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family doing well. If you're not doing well, make sure you're doing well. Today is a beautiful day in Las Vegas. Okay. So happy to have my bro BIG.G from the Mayweather team. He's amazing security guy. He's very famous too. Everybody know him. I have nothing to say about him. So today we're gonna talk about this crazy fight in Las Vegas between Khabib and McGregor. So I'm sure you have a lot of questions. You wanna know what happened. And the big answer, the best answer is to be here in Las Vegas, in town, and to answer your questions from my bro. Tell me more about that, bro. What's going on? So what happened? Are you okay? Everything is good? How's the team? How's Floyd?
Very good. Everything's good, bro. Everything's good. I went to the fight. I went to the fight on the weekend on Saturday and had a great time, man. It was a nice night of fights. Yeah. And the end ended a little bit unique, but it was all in all, it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad it ended up being contained. You know, obviously we're here to talk about what happened and all that kind of stuff. So, yep, put that on. He's got to have it on. There we go. Now we're brothers fully. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I had a great time, man. I had a great time on the weekend. I'm glad nobody was seriously injured because that kind of stuff can be dangerous. But had a great time, man.
We have the same questions. First of all, what do you think about the fight between Khabib and McGregor? It was an amazing fight. Everybody was waiting for this fight. A lot of review, we don't know exactly what happened, but the only things right now before we talk about more about that is the fight, just the fight.
Just the fight itself.
Just the fight. Let's go start about the fight.
Okay. Well, the fight itself, I enjoyed it. It was, I want to say it was competitive, but at the end of the day, you had a guy who pretty much dominated Conor McGregor. Khabib is an extremely good wrestler. His pressure is ridiculous. He'll put you in a position that it's a helpless feeling. Conor, I don't know. I don't know if I saw the same Conor. He's a warrior. At the end of the day, he is a fighter, and I don't know. Maybe the money, maybe the layoff. I don't know, but I didn't see the same kind of eye of the tiger from him. But it was definitely a dominant victory by Khabib. If they fight again, I think it's a little bit closer. That's for sure. I don't know if he beats him, but it's a little bit closer. I don't know who beats Khabib, to be honest with you, but he'd have to get a nice punch that he can't shake off, basically.
They have the same age, right? 30, yeah?
Yeah, they're about the same age, yeah. They're both prime, so there's no old, young, there's none of that.
What is the difference technique between Khabib and McGregor?
Well, it's a classic striker versus wrestler. So Khabib will pressure you and keep pressure on and have you on the ground. He'll tie you. All he needs is your foot or your ankle, and you're not getting loose. Sure. He's like a snake. He just wraps around you and it's over. Conor's a classic striker. He's very accurate with his punches. Where he's looking at, he's gonna hit. His range is good. He's a counter. He's like a counter striker. So when you come and try to hit him, he's gonna hit you back. That's what happened when he got the 13-second KO against Aldo. Aldo came in with the right. He saw it and he clipped him on the chin. That's basically what someone like Khabib might lose to, or something like that. Maybe Conor goes back to the drawing board. He gets the eye of the tiger back. Maybe this is something he needed to get that fire back in him. I'm not sure. I just didn't feel like that was the same Conor with the same fire that I'm used to seeing of him. A lot of people are just, it's funny. It's funny in martial arts or boxing. You lose a match and now all of a sudden you're just nobody. It's tough because the guy has all these fans, he's a hero and all this, and then he's just a nobody. Same thing happened to Ronda Rousey. It's sad to see. It's like, are you a real fan or are you a fake fan? If you're a fan of the guy, you got to stand behind him whether he wins or loses. Khabib 27-0. Absolutely beautiful to see a guy go undefeated in the UFC or mixed martial arts for that matter. Conor, I think he makes it a closer fighter if it happens again, and I'm buying into it if he does, but I don't know if he'll win, but I'm just saying I think it's a little bit closer of a fight.
He prepared himself to fight with FLOYD MAYWEATHER of boxing, so it's completely different war. After that, he want to come back to the UFC, and I heard he didn't have time to train and to prepare himself like Khabib.
I mean, I'm not sure. You should have the time, right? I mean, it was a 2-year layoff from MMA.
I think he stopped for a long time now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like even some of the fighters are going to stop for a while and then they'll come back. They just need a training camp to get into shape.
Sure.
They need a training camp to get into shape and get their skills, brush up on their skills.
Sure.
But these guys are pros. They've been doing it their whole life. It's not like they need to learn how to punch or lean.
Sure.
So, you know, I think Conor was working on a lot of his takedown defense and all this kind of stuff, but which is good. You got to do that against Khabib, but I don't know. I think you live and you learn. I think he learned through this fight, and I think maybe it puts the fire back into him when we see a closer one next time. Again, I don't know if anybody could beat Khabib. There's a few guys I have in mind that I think might be able to take him down, but now that's going to be the question. I love the way Khabib fights.
Yes.
He's amazing, but now everybody's going to be attacking him with the question of, I think this guy beats him, I think this guy beats him. I think now it's going to be what they do, you know, they do that to Floyd. Oh, this guy will beat him, this guy will beat him. Back in, you know, 1762, this guy would have beat him, and I hear it all. So now Khabib's going to be getting that kind of stuff because they want to see him, certain people are going to want to see him lose now.
Can you talk about father, religion, all this stuff? And we know McGregor, you know, he talk a lot, he play with this game to make sure to you know, like, that's a tough one. I can put myself kind of right in the middle of it and understand both sides. Okay, do I think that somebody should have hopped the cage and attacked Conor? Absolutely not. Do I think Conor should be talking about his father and religion? No, because if I put myself into a very religious Muslim man's shoes, they're very serious about the religion. I know a lot of Muslims. They're very serious about their religion. I would never dare to tell them and insult them about their religion. Now, I understand it's a fight promotion game, so Conor might see it a little bit differently. He never meant to maybe attack him. Well, it is personal. I don't know how to put it like that, but maybe he never meant to do it that deep, but he figured that's what I can attack. Oh, but you know, you're talking about terrorists, you're talking about his father. It's promotion, I understand on his end too, but some things are just not meant for promotion because of the way another person might perceive the words that are taken in. So again, I'm kind of right in the middle. I understand both. I wish it didn't happen. I wish they hugged it out at the end because the fight is technically what should settle everything. And you know, Khabib went on, he said sorry to Nevada, and Khabib understands. He even said, my dad is gonna smash me when I go home. Yeah, it was funny. It was cute.
Yeah. So his dad, you know, I'm sure his dad's gonna be like, you know what, you could have just grabbed the belt and said, you know what, I got it. This is mine, and this is what you get. This is for my people, this is for this and that. But
he's a human too.
He's a human. There's emotions run high. That's why there's such thing as
people can understand that.
People fight with their friends. You're not supposed to fight with your friend, but sometimes you fight with your friend.
Yeah.
It's emotions. Emotions are hard to, and I understand people saying, yo, he's a professional, he's this, but I mean, he's a human being. He's a human being.
It's true. When I see Khabib, mentally, I remember from the beginning when he heard a lot of stuff from McGregor, he didn't open his mouth. He was pro. You know what I mean?
He's a professional.
He's a professional.
He's stone cold. I like him. I like his attitude.
It's crazy.
He's the way he handled that. He's a role model to all like children or youth growing up wanting to be a fighter. But what happened after the fight, I wish that didn't happen on both sides.
But
so
he apologized.
He did. He apologized. He's still conducting himself as a professional. I'm sure, you know, the UFC and the Nevada Commission is gonna, you know, there's gonna be consequences, obviously. So there'll be something. I mean, they'll probably get. UFC might charge. I hope not, man. That's a tough thing. I don't even think Conor wants that to happen.
And McGregor too. Conor too. He did some mistake when he threw the chair on the bus. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and he got charged in this, and you know, this was a big lead up. So a lot of people right now, they're blaming Khabib because they saw what it was, and you know, Conor has a lot of fans, but man, it's 50-50. It takes two to tango. It's not one person's fault. I'm not going to sit here and say it was Conor. I'm not going to sit here and say it was Khabib. At the end of the day, it takes two to tango. I wish they would have just hugged it out at the end. But also, sitting here, I could tell you, I could try to put myself in Khabib's shoes and say, wow, that's hurtful. I understand. I might have lost my emotion. I don't know. I could put myself in Conor's shoes. It's business. I'm promoting, and I understand that side. So, like I said, I wish it didn't happen, but sometimes emotions get in the way. And like I say, emotions are a hell of a drug sometimes, man.
It's crazy. And what we can say for the UFC Federation, because they let a fighter to talk like that, what we can say, what advice we can give?
You know, I was thinking of this the other day. I was thinking, how do you take out pitting a country against a country or a religion against a religion from this fight promotion? Because to me, being at the fight, to me it felt like Russia against Ireland. That's sad. We're all the same people. We're all, you know, we're human beings. So I don't want to see. I want to see Khabib versus Conor. I don't want to see Russia versus Ireland. I'm Italian. I'm Canadian. I went to watch Khabib versus Conor, and I want to be safe in there, and I don't want people to get hurt. So how do you take that out and tell them? What do you tell them? You can't take your flag in. So that's tough too. So I don't know. It's a very fine line. I'm glad I'm not the one who has to make the decisions. That's going to be up to Dana. But there has to be certain things that he's going to have to implement into what he allows to be promoted. Certain techniques.
Very interesting.
And honestly, I don't know, because I can't say, oh, you're Muslim. You can't say you're a Muslim.
Yes.
He should be able to say he's a Muslim.
Yes.
I'm a Muslim.
Yes. Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
He should be able to say I'm from Russia. He should be able to say I'm Conor.
Yes.
I'm from Ireland, and carry your flag and be proud of it. He did that with us in the Floyd Mayweather thing, and Floyd grabbed his flag, and everything was good.
Yes.
You know, Connor's a little bit handsy. He touches a lot. Maybe slow that down a little. Maybe control that. Maybe put in like a penalty for striking another person. Like he slapped Khabib's hand. Maybe throw in a small little penalty that.
Like McGregor touched the head of Floyd Mayweather.
He touched too.
And he should not.
No, he should not. But there's a difference between Floyd and everybody else. Floyd has been there. Floyd has been there for 20 years. He's a champion in and outside that ring. You cannot get into Floyd's head. It's impossible. I'm with this man daily, every single day. It's absolutely impossible to get through into his head to knock him off his game. He's super composed. Look what Conor said. He's super composed. He was very surprised. But you can't get through. But, you know, he's also not a Muslim from Russia, and his name's not Khabib. So he's a different person.
Yes.
So I can't say, Khabib, you should be like Floyd. Or Floyd, you should be like Khabib. They're different people. People react to things differently. Like you might get mad if somebody brushes your shoulder, and I might not. Somebody steps on your new white shoe, you're like, oh, I'll just buy a new one. I might be like, oh, that's my last $1. What the hell, you step, now I gotta fight him. It's just people perceive things differently, you know, and I don't want to put blame on anybody. But at the end of the day, we all have to be, they all have to be professionals, and they can't allow it to spill out after the fight, because they have a chance to settle it. Like, he beat him up. At the end, it should have been over.
That's gonna affect his title, you think, for Khabib after that?
I don't know. They could possibly strip it. Honestly, for Khabib, I don't think it matters, because everybody knows he's the champ now, and he's got a 0 on his record. And in order for anybody to beat him, like what everyone wants to see now is him lose a fight to become a human.
Exactly. And do you think McGregor is gonna have this title about to be the greatest UFC fighter? That's the question now.
Conor McGregor?
Yes.
No. I mean, Conor's lost to Nate. He's lost to Khabib. He has other losses. Can he be the best UFC fighter? No. Is he the best UFC promoter of all time? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He definitely knows how to promote himself. He has the biggest fan base. He's made the most money. He's helped change the face of the game. You got to give respect to Floyd for that. Floyd has helped him with that. His value went up because he fought Floyd. So now he went back to the UFC. And he's demanding more money. So now Conor gets the money, why can't I get the money? So now he's driving the value up, which is very important. You need somebody like Conor in the game. Is he the best technical fighter? I mean that's hard. That's really hard to give him that. And if I'm him, if I put myself in his shoes, I want to fight Khabib again, because I want to redeem myself. Even if I lose, I want to make it competitive. I want to bloody him up. I want to do that. Yes, absolutely. And I believe. I don't know if Khabib will fight him again or not, but I believe, I think he will. I think it'll be a major promotion.
Okay.
And I think Khabib also has a chance to redeem himself as well, to win the fight if he wins the fight. And then after the fight, it's done. And say, I'm the champ, you're not, and that's it. And walk away as a professional like that.
I think people are waiting for that, another fight. So everything is going to be good. And
I'd buy it. Would you buy it?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
I'd buy it. The UFC needs fights like that. They need fights like that. They just don't need what happened at the end, that's all.
Some people, they said, it's a show, it's a fake. Do you think it's true?
No. Conspiracy theorists are the funniest people I've ever come across. You'll see them posting online and everything saying, oh, this is fake, Floyd's fake, this is fake. Yeah. They're friends. I live this every day of my life, and when I see that, I'm laughing. It's ridiculous. These people are not only conspiracy theorists in this, they're the same people who are going to say, you know, in their everyday life, they'll go to their job and say, oh, I know those two people were talking to get me fired to do this, and never take responsibility for what actually happened. So at the end of the day, that's on them. That's on those people. If they want to believe that and make some things up in their head, they can believe that. But I'll tell you right now, there's nothing fake about that.
No,
nothing fake. Because I personally know one of Conor's security as well, and there is nothing fake about that. There's nothing fake about a rumble that happens and people are getting hit in their face and a crowd is trampling you and there's a possibility of dying. You know, like you could really actually die. People don't understand this until it happens. See, I'm on the other side. I see threats. I see what happens. People actually die doing, like there's been people that have been trampled. There's been people that die in a boxing ring, like people really die over this stuff. So what if the crowd started saying, Russia against Ireland, they all rushed in, and then there's people on the floor that are getting trampled. There would have been a lot of people getting very seriously injured.
Very nice. One thing was great. Putin, the president of the Russia, called him, right?
That's what I heard.
Just after the fight.
That's what I heard.
That's
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, you know, he's Russian. He was proud of him, and he showed his appreciation for him winning. But I know Putin was he was friends with Conor too. I'm sure Putin would have said congratulations to Conor as well, and told Khabib, you know, better luck in a rematch or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're just congratulating a person. You know, you're showing respect for a person. Like, this is his whole life. He was a little kid wrestling bears. You know, Conor was a little kid doing martial arts. So you're just showing respect to somebody who's done something for their whole life. If they win, you know, if they lose, keep your head up, man. You'll better luck next time. So yeah.
Okay, I saw what is his name?
Drake. Yes.
So the flag from Irish on his back. So.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of question about that.
I guess a lot of people were questioning, but you know, Drake's from Toronto. I'm from Toronto, so got nothing bad to say about Drake. Drake's my boy. So.
All right.
No. You know, I mean, listen. In Canada, I'll tell you this. In Canada, we're very cultured people.
Yeah.
Canada's a socialist country. We don't believe, oh, if I hold this guy's flag, I do this, I do that. No, we're very cultured. I grew up with all different types of cultures and religions, and not only do you grow up with them, I understand them. So I've been to their homes, and their mothers that can't speak English have cooked me meals, or you know, vice versa. We're very, very cultured. So for example, in Toronto, I'll give you an example. In Toronto, 51% of people that live in Toronto right now weren't even born in the country of Canada.
Oh, okay.
Not even born in the country of Canada. So you're talking about fresh culture, right? Like basically right off the boat. Like my parents were born in Italy. If you come to the United States, everyone's kind of second and third, and they, you know, they distance that culture a little bit. So it's more of the Americanized culture. In Canada, there's very fresh culture still from their country, so we understand that. So we're respectful towards all that. Not to say that Americans aren't, we just understand it, I believe, a little bit more, especially coming from Toronto.
Of course. One thing was good, nobody gets hurt, you know what I mean? That's the most important, right?
Most important, man.
Yeah, nobody gets hurt.
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised. That was like a wave sometimes, the crowd.
Yeah, I see.
I was on the other side, but I saw, and it kind of spilled over to my side a little bit, and I was like, oh man, somebody's gonna get hurt. But they ended up containing it. I watched it over and over a few times, and I saw that I don't know. I think the security should have a little bit more formation, a little bit more organization. When something like that does happen, they should surround the cage for the fighter, for example, so nobody can hop in. They miss the guy hopping in. They're too focused on Conor. At the end of the day, these guys sometimes are like, oh my God, there's the star. Let me focus on him. You got to look at the threat around that person. That person's okay. They make a living breaking heads. They're okay. You got to look around the person, not just stare at the person. And you know, I'm sure there's security over there that are trained and are not trained, so it's making the ones that are trained look a little bit worse. But at the end of the day, they did contain it. There was a million people. There's, you know, a ton of police and ton of you know, they have the T-Mobile security, and then they have the UFC security, then Conor's security. And you know, I know one of Conor's security, and I've been through the same thing where he actually had to stay. One of them had to stay in the wings. One of them had to be in the dressing room. One of them had to be in the back. So they were at a disadvantage. When they came out, they didn't have anybody. And then Khabib's team is all in the corner because they're all the trainers, and they're all, you know, they're tough guys, right? So T-Mobile restricts things sometimes, and they're worried about the wrong people. So for example, they've told me before, you know, you can't walk over there or you'll be arrested.
Yes, true.
I said, I'm the protection, not the threat. Worry about the outside. You guys are worried about this. You're going to get so worried about this that it's going to be coming from here. You're not going to see it. And I see it all. And I see it all the time. And it's unfortunate. But you know, they have their in-house security, which, I mean, I'm in in-house security. I see Floyd Mayweather, I see Conor McGregor, maybe I'm like, oh my God, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Can I get a picture? Nice to meet you. Now there's a threat over here that I'm totally oblivious to. So me being with Floyd every day, I know him, he's like a brother to me. So I'm making sure I'm looking. And I want the best I want the best for him from my heart, not just because, you know, I'm getting paid from T-Mobile. So I think it's very important that they should let their own personal security go down to the ring with them. But also make it a very big point that this is not like a gang fight. This is you protecting them. And if something happens, you stand in front of them and try to like stop the threat, not engage back. So, and that's also tough too, but there has to be one side that stops it.
Good point, very good point. I'm sure guys, you want me to ask him this beautiful question. So it's about Floyd and Pacquiao. What the hell is going on?
I don't know, there's a lot of talk about it, huh?
This is only on optical power, I'm telling you guys.
Right, exclusive. I mean, the stars have aligned themselves because Pacquiao just came off a nice TKO on Matisse, which Matisse is a tough guy. And they all said Matisse might beat Pacquiao. He might beat Pacquiao. Everybody was scared. Pacquiao totally dominated him, TKO'd him, stopped him. I can't remember what round it was, 9th or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a dominant victory. And now people are saying is Pacquiao's back to his form, and he came back with the hunger. And now Floyd is not fighting anyone, and Pacquiao's not fighting anyone, so they're talking about it. And then Floyd came out with saying, I'm coming back in December, so he's got a lot of people's ears up. So
he's coming back. You think
we'll
he can do it again?
Yes, he can do. He can definitely do it. He could do it till he's 60. That guy's built differently. But does he fight in December? I don't know. Maybe. I think he comes back and possibly fights Pacquiao. I really do. I think he does.
For $300 million for 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
I think he can come back, right?
I can't even count that high. Yeah, absolutely. It's hard, man. I don't know. I'm not in his position, so I don't know. But he's worked his whole life to get up to a point where he's now worth that much to fight. It's very hard to say no, but there's also, you know, also age comes into play. He is 41, he'll be 42. Could he still do it? Absolutely. Has he slowed down a little bit? Yeah, I'm sure he has slowed down. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd back in when he was 26 and 30, he was destroying guys. People forget he was a KO artist. He was a guy who was knocking out everybody. He was that guy you were scared of. He was that guy who was going to knock you out.
I agree.
Then when he got a certain age, he had to be a little bit more defensive. It's smart.
You have kids and, you know.
You have to be smart. Listen, he can't just go in and just start rumbling and brawling people. He's not going to last long. That's why he's lasted this long, and that's why he's making all these millions. So now, you know, you're always going to get those people say, oh, he has this style. He wants...
They want a show, you know what I mean? That's what they want.
Right. And then when that person has disease, like, for example, like, rest his soul, Muhammad Ali, people forget about. You know, they might talk about, but who was there for him when that happened? They just want to see him get his head banged, and then they're gone. And it's sad. And people die in the ring too, like I was explaining before. There's a few guys that died in the ring. Why don't people post them and say, oh, this is my hero, this, that? You don't hear about them anymore. Once they're gone, it's done. So Floyd is smart. He doesn't care what people say. He's gonna go, he's gonna get his money, and whatever he takes, he's gonna get that win. And if you don't like it, come and beat him.
It's true. I agree. And yeah, the risk is about the fighter, but the risk is about the security guy too. Like you had some. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can talk about whatever.
It's dangerous for everybody right now, and I'm very sad for that. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, we were lucky. We got shot at 12 times, and well, one time, but 12 bullets, and hit our car 6 times. It hit me, and I was rushed to the hospital, and. I made it there in about 15 minutes. They said it just missed the artery. Luckily, had it hit my artery, I would have bled out in 6 minutes. So I would have been dead, but I'm not dead. It's not my time. Somebody still wants me here. So I don't look at that as a negative thing. I look at it as a positive thing because I'm still here. So Like I said, you live and you learn just with sports and in real life. You live and you learn, and you move forward, and you try to hope that that kind of stuff doesn't happen again.
But why the sport makes so much jealousy? I completely, I don't understand.
I think it's America. I think America has an issue with their people being on top. We always want to pull, in America, we always want to pull the guy down. In other countries, you push him up.
Yeah.
So you see, all of Ireland came here. Tyson Fury's about to fight against Deontay Wilder. He's going to bring all these English fans. How come the U.S. fans don't do that for the U.S. fighters? I mean, when the Olympics comes, we all get together and it's beautiful,
yes,
and we kick ass. But
yes,
in Canada, if you have a Canadian GSP, when GSP goes to a Canadian ring or any other place, the Canadians follow and they go crazy for him. And that's the way it's supposed to be. He's a Canadian. He's one of our people, and we love him for that. America is not like that. Maybe because there's too many stars. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But Americans don't want to see their own people do well.
the big money too. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, big money.
So,
what advice you can give for the new generation of boxing and UFC?
the new generation.
Yes, that's what we want to.
I would say for boxers, you'd be crazy not to take a page out of Floyd's book. Promote yourself well, act like a professional, and the idea is to be hit. The idea is to hit and not be hit. So you want to leave the sport with your faculties. You want to be able to have a conversation with your kids when you're older. It's important to take care of your family, but it's also important to be there for your family when you're older. UFC-wise, man, that's a tough, unforgiving sport. It's tough because they're still very underpaid. It's driving up. Dana's helping it drive up. He's doing a fabulous job promoting the UFC. The fights are getting better. The money's coming in. The fighters are getting more and more money. But a lot of these guys have like a bartending job or they have a weekend job, and then they're going to train. Man, can you imagine? That's tough. That's really tough to keep. And then there's no guarantees. So you might be wasting your whole time trying to be a fighter, and you haven't spent any time doing, let's say, training for a certain or getting seniority in a certain job that gets you paid a heavy amount by the time you're 30 or 35. By the time these guys are 30, if they haven't made it, then they got to start over like they were 18 at a job per se, right? So it's tough. It's a big risk. Work hard, man. It's just work hard. There's no secret to it. Work hard, get up, motivate yourself, find a motivation for yourself, and stick to it, and work hard and give the best of your ability.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Was
Subscribe
just
to
amazing.
Optical Power. Exclusive videos like this one.
Oh, trust me, guys. Peace. Good, man.
Good?
Thank you, bro.
Of course, bro.
Amazing.
I'm always going to give you a good one.
Good.